Oh, let me turn this light on so you can see me here. There you go. That helps a little bit. Welcome back to Hunt the Season. This will be the last episode before it goes back to once a month or whatever. Um, this one here, I sat down with the owner creator of Mobile Hunter Prince LLC. This is this is the gear strap that I actually bought from him. He sent me a few other things for stick holder. Um, there's an accessory hook as well that he has. This thing, it bites the tree. It held my 270 in the tree, actually. Fits in the palm in your hand, which is what I really like. I had another one that was kind of like big and bulky. Had to hold it like this. I mean, it worked on the tree, but it's just big and bulky. I want something a little bit smaller. So, had Bryce on here to talk about how it came about, why it came about, and the whole process behind it, and how business has been going. And we talk about how mobile hunting efficiently has helped a lot. Not only with like getting in the tree quietly, getting set up, but like being quick, not having to go down and up the tree multiple times. He makes some really cool products. Go check him out. Mobile Hunter Prince LLC on Etsy, or go check him out on Instagram, Facebook. Make some really good stuff at an affordable price, and that's what he wants to do. He wants to make it affordable because everything's really expensive in the hunting industry, and he wants to be an affordable kind of guy, affordable company. American made, right in his own house with a 3D printer. Thank you guys for all the support over the years. It's been fun. It might come back again to every Monday. Just depends on how things go. But thank you for all the support. Remember to like, subscribe, and don't shame the game. See you guys. Khaled, because the season literally just ended for us in Pennsylvania. Well, rifle season anyway.
Okay.
Rifle season ended this past weekend on the 14th. It ended, or
Okay.
13th or something like that. Yeah, 13th it ended.
Yeah.
But now we have late season. I'm like, I have two options, right? I can take the bow out, back out, or I can take a flintlock out. And
Okay.
so
Yeah.
I'm thinking of either way. I'm probably going to take. So my dad gave me his old PSC, which is like right here.
Okay.
So I have that one there, or I have the flintlock, and I'm like, either way, I'm going to take one of the old ones out. Like I would just want to take one of the old ones out and just see how that does.
Yeah.
But I haven't shot anything with the flintlock yet, and I'm like, I'd really love to like shoot something with a flintlock.
Yeah. Well, up here in Michigan, it's a little different now because like we have muzzleloader season with like the first week of December, but it's like second rifle season because you can
Okay.
use straight wall cartridge or whatever. And then now it's late doe season for the rest of the year, but you could also bow hunt. So it's like, do I take the bow out and then I'm probably gonna end up seeing the buck, or do I just go and just shoot the doe and be done with it? You know.
What? Well, before we get into it, introduce yourself because I want to talk about
Okay.
Michigan a little bit because I haven't had anyone on specifically to talk about Michigan,
Okay.
and that what you just said is very interesting to me. So before we get into it, introduce yourself, who you are, and the company you're with.
Okay. Yep. So my name is Bryce Canada, owner of the Mobile Hunter Prince. So I guess Mobile Hunter Prince LLC now. They made it official this late this season. So
Nice.
but yeah, I'm a Michigan guy, born and raised. I've only ever lived in Michigan. Started hunting since I was 10, and then I really didn't start getting into like the mobile hunting until 2020. So it's like the last 5 years, and actually, since I made the switch, I guess we can kind of get into that later. But since I made the switch over, like it's the encounters and success rate has went like through the roof for me, which has kind of led me down this path, like where I'm at now, why I started the business, and like kind of how I got into it. And really, so like from where I hunt around, I guess I don't know if it's that good enough of an intro. I don't know how
No,
to.
that's good. That's good, man. Yeah.
Um, but like here we're at where I'm at in Michigan, so I'm not super familiar with the area, but I'm like an hour or so like north of Detroit.
Okay.
So just outside the suburbs, so we get the state land around here gets like hit like
Yeah.
hard, right? And then there's some private property I got behind the house here, and then I got some permission pieces, but it's 10 acres here, 10 acres there. Like I don't have, I got these permission pieces in like my house. Like the deer are here, but they're not living here.
Okay.
It's passerbyers. There's some farms that I kind of can butt up against, and then really like my one place that I spend most of my time. The deer in the area is super dictated on whether or not the farmer has certain crop in that field that year.
Okay.
And they're never living there. They're always like pass or goer, and like kind of where I'm at too. Like I can sit in my stand wherever I'm at that night, and you can look down the way and hear the kids swing on the swing set down the way. I've had people out walking their kids in a stroller in the middle of the farm field, and I'm like, it's really weird dynamic kind of down here. But
Yeah.
then I do go up northern Michigan on state land up there, and that's totally different, a lot more vast, and the deer up there are super spooky. You get a couple of cracks at a certain spot, and then it's like, you got to move on because your scent just kind of blows the whole area out. So
That's kind of how like it is where I'm at. Like where I live at is primarily like ag country, kind of like what you just stated. Like, and we have game lands around. Like the biggest one close to me is like 4,000 acres, but kind of like what you said about like we have people hiking through them all the time. We have horseback riding through them. We have bicyclists going through them. Dog walkers with their dogs not on a leash, just running around, and it's the same thing. And then you go up north to northern Pennsylvania, like anywhere really up north in Pennsylvania, and you have a lot more land. You have harder access. You have bigger hills. You have not even hills. You have mountains up there, and then like no ag, and it's pretty much the same thing. And that's I like you actually got into mobile hunting probably like 3 years ago. Really,
okay.
like I got into saddle hunting first, like pure saddle, and it was like a platform and sticks and that kind of stuff. I was like, gotta go as late as possible. Then I was like, man, I hate just pure saddle hunting. I hate like it's just I felt like I was moving too much, and I still saddle hunt, but it's more of a hybrid style now, where it's like I have the .5 with the saddle, and I primarily only run 2 sticks.
So that's literally the setup I've got right here. So I started with an XOP Vanish with the 3 sticks, and I went, this is cool, but it's bulky, it's noisy, it's not super efficient. It doesn't integrate like great. Again, for the price point of what it is,
Oh yeah.
it's great. And I actually use that as like my hanging hunt behind the house now. So I started there. Then the next year I got to upgrade. So then I ended up getting the .5. I do the two sticks. I got the single stops, 8ers. I usually only do 2 sticks. But I hybrid hunt as well because I actually have the Dryad there that I've been using for the last 2 years. And then on Black Friday, I just picked up the Maverick from Latitude. So it's kind of like that run and gun, like versatile. And I think this coming year, I'd like to get a saddle platform because there's a few situations where I found myself where I was like, especially when you get up north and you start going back miles, it's like, yeah, this would have been real nice to have a saddle for a couple of these certain scenarios.
Yep.
For the most part, the .5, like I can do anything. I can hybrid hunt. I can hang in the saddle, sit down, flip around. So, and actually, like the deer I shot last year, I probably wouldn't have been able to turn back around and like sit down and be able to kind of do the 180. I don't know if I'd have shot that deer. So so it opens up more, I think, possibilities, and the opportunities are endless with that.
Yep.
So that's why I was gravitated towards that.
Yep. Yeah. I had the Vanish 2 to start out, and that was like you said, it's a good entry into it. But the bulkiness, like it is on the heavier side, right? I'm primarily probably like you gonna have it for like a permanent set for close to home here or up in my parents' camp. I have 3 hang-on stands up there, just put them up there or something like that. A rut setup, just hang it somewhere for the rut and just let it go. But yeah, it's kind of funny. Like I've been trying so hard to get something with the bow in like the last 3 years since really getting into mobile hunting. I actually just shot my first deer out of a mobile stand with the saddle.
Oh, that's awesome.
Ever this year.
That's awesome.
With a rifle though. Like it wasn't with the bow. And it was just because primarily when I hunt rifle, it's just like I'm sitting on the ground. I'm just waiting, or I'm walking through still hunting, something like that. And this time it was like I found so much sign in this one area. I was like, I got to just hang here and just sit. And that time this year was like the first time I sat all day in one spot.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, I'm forcing myself to sit here. And it was, she came right down, put it right between her. She was coming to me. I put it right between her shoulder blade right here, came right in there, went out the heart, and she was done in like 2 seconds.
That's
And it was
great.
like, I was like, holy crap, that was freaking cool right there. Like, I didn't realize that actually was my first deer out of a saddle or or mobile hunting setup since ever.
Well, that's what I remember. Like it's I don't know. It's super rewarding too, like doing it that way, because I feel like, my dad's probably gonna watch this, so sorry, Dad, but everything he's taught me over the years, I've kind of been like, do the opposite, because we go go set up your stand, hunt the same tree every weekend, no matter, and whatever. This is like, this is where we hunt. This is how we do it. Like, especially up north on that state land. It's like we were known from some of the locals that we'd met. Like, this is kind of where we hunt, made friends, whatever. But it was, no matter the wind, the weather, what was going on, we were sitting in those stands and it didn't matter. And it's like, that doesn't really cut it, right? Like, so I started transitioning into the XOP.
Yep.
And then that first year, up north, out of all places, way back in, I found this spot that I never would have thought about hunting before, because I'm not lugging a ladder stand out there. And the biggest buck I've ever seen up there. Probably my biggest deer ever, but I ended up missing it. But getting that experience, and because it was one of those things where I couldn't believe what was happening, the adrenaline kind of took over and whatever. But it was like the encounters were happening each year. And then it was, I think, 3 years ago that I took a 6.6 yards out of my stand, like one stick high, like up in this like thick little brush. And I was like, that was cool.
Yeah.
That was cool. And
Yep.
then I did the same thing last year. I was two sticks high and I shot him at 7 yards.
Yep.
Like, you can kind of get in these areas because you get in there once and then you move on to the next spot, or kind of. And that's what's tough though. Like with those 10 acres, I don't have that many places to like set up or hunt. I kind of try to minimize the amount of times I get in there. Or if I do find like that one, like this year, I found like kind of like the corridor. It's taken me a few years to kind of figure out, because they are just passing by. They're not living there. They're totally just passing by. Spending the time and kind of figuring out, where that location is that's best suited for me, and the kind of how do I say that? Like 9 times out of 10, like if the wind's doing this is going to be a good spot. I will actually hang my .5, leave it for a day or two, and then go in and then proceed to try to hunt like a morning, evening. And then like this, so last year I shot the other one at 7 yards, and like you get that close to them. Again, these aren't giant deer by any means. Like for me, they're good deer.
Yeah.
What gets me excited, but when you get that close to them, it's just like, that's cool.
I think when everyone has this infatuation with big buck, and like we all as hunters, we would love to shoot a big buck, right?
Yeah.
But when you have this moment, when, like you said, when you have this moment where you're putting in the work, you're setting up the stand, you're going in there, you're putting all this work in, like when they get that close, like 6-7 yards, it's like any buck at that point is kind of big at that point.
Well, yeah.
It's like getting right on top of them.
It's like, well, yeah, it's like, again, they say ground shrinkage it is a real thing, trust me. But
that's funny, because my dad shot his biggest buck to date this year, and we kept he's debating getting a shoulder mount, or if he wants to get a Euro or just a skull plaque or whatever. And I'm like, Dad, that he's not having any ground shrinkage. Like, he's not shrinking at all. Like, I just keep looking at him, he just keeps getting bigger. He's like, yeah, I don't know. He just keeps getting bigger in my eyes still. I'm like, I think he was like I think he was a fighting buck, because like his 2 ears were like
just beat up.
Yeah, his 2 ears, and he had like this. I think it's cool. My dad does not want to get it mounted on the buck, but he it looks like when you drag a deer over, like just drag him out, how the skin kind of start, the white skin.
Yeah.
On the side of his mouth, it was like that. Like the whole.
Really?
Yeah, I was like, that's pretty unique. Like that's
very cool. Yeah.
Yeah, like he was a bully buck, but he was with 8 does when he came out. So it was him and 8 does coming out of this thick private area. And my dad usually, I feel like Michigan and Pennsylvania are very similar in the way people hunt during rifle season. and he's trigger happy. Like the first deer that comes by that's legal, he's
Oh
gonna
yeah.
shoot. You know,
Yeah.
put
Oh
meat
yeah.
in the freezer.
Yeah.
He had this big doe come out. He did not take the shot. He waited, and
Oh
then
wow.
the 8 point came out. I was like, props to you, Dad, for
Yeah.
waiting. Like
That's funny.
that's not usually what happens.
That's funny. Yeah, my dad's kind of the same way. And like, he's the one that got me into this, so I thank him for that. And then him and
Yep.
I have done this for years, and again, with Dad, when you watch this is no flack, but it's just funny. Like what we thought we were doing was right. Do this first student shows up, spike, whatever it is, like I'm shooting or whatever, and now we're kind of got to this, which I think I've kind of got my dad into the. He's not like mobile hunting per se, but like it's like, hey, we're gonna hunt in different spots depending on the wind or what's going on, and he's kind of been into it. And it's again when you get to northern Michigan, it's so tough, but it's been seeming to work. We've been getting the more encounters and stuff, but yeah, that's funny. You get a little patience, and then sometimes it pays off. Sometimes it does pay off.
But next year, I don't think that'll happen. I think it'll just be like the first one that comes out is going to shoot again. I would put money down on that.
Well, I mean, that's kind of like I had like a really tough bow season this year. There just wasn't much around, so we got the gun season. I'm like, well, first thing that gets me a little excited, So
yeah, that's me and my buddy Ethan. I was up at his camp this past weekend for the last weekend of rifle, and I had multiple opportunities to small doe. Like the first 2 days, I was like, they just stand there and stare at me, and I'm like, I could take you right now. Like opening, I get up there on Thursday, I'm 2 hours in the woods, and it's 9:00, and I just have these two little doe just staring at me. I'm like, it's 9:00. Ethan's not even up at his camp yet. I'm still I'm like 4 miles in right now. Do I really want to waste my doe tag on you right now? No. But then the last day comes, the last day of rifle together. It's like, small one comes out, I'm going to take it.
Yeah. Well, that's funny because I think it was within the last few years was like up until 2020. I think I've been hunting for 10, 12 years, and I shot some doe. I shot a couple of spikes and maybe like a 4-point or something. So I really hadn't had much, right? So I wasn't passing, and that's just I haven't had the opportunity and whatever. So that's just kind of how my journey has been through this whole hunting thing. But it was last year, 2 years ago, I had what younger Bryce would have killed for. I let walk by, and I'm thinking, these are going to shoot. I'm not going to shoot. It's like, wow. I'm maturing a little bit or something. I don't know what's going on here, but that 2 years ago, that would have not have flown, But it is funny to see kind of how things progress as time goes on once you get going through this.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy. I look back at the first buck I ever passed up. It was the first time I ever got a bow. First time I ever got into mobile hunting. It was out of the saddle. I went in there, set up, and this deer, like you said, it came right to 7 yards to me. It was a 7-point, it was a maybe out to its ears, 7-point. Came right beside me, 8 yards, 7 yards. I could have taken the shot, and I was like, I kind of get in my own head because I knew that I ran cameras here, and there was bigger deer in the area. I was like, I'm just gonna let him walk. I know there's bigger ones. And I look back, I didn't shoot anything that year, and I'm like,
yeah,
I could have really used that.
I have a love-hate relationship with cameras, depending on how you utilize them, because especially on the state land and stuff around here, I need them. I just need you to tell me there's deer here. Honestly, don't tell me what's here. Just tell me there are deer here, because then, Saturday morning rolls around. Well, cameras haven't been going on. I'm like sleeping, and then all of a sudden the cameras start going off that morning, or But it's funny you say that, because I've had that kind of bite me in the butt before too. So
yeah, that's why I have 2 cell cameras, and they're about 4 hours away from me, so I can't do anything about them.
Yeah,
and I like standard SD cams, just because I like to check them, and to see them, what's in the area. But I found myself recently this year, going back and hunting those cameras again, when last year I didn't do that. And that really messes with you. When you start doing that, when you hunt the area because there's a camera in the area that you can check and all that kind of stuff like that, that really messes with you in that sense.
That 4 or 5 years ago, I got 3 or 4 cell cams, and I've got reveals and some spy points. I'm trying to figure out what I want to do, but those first few years when I started mobile hunting, like when I especially up north, like there was specifically scout only, no cell cams, had no idea what was in the area, and I was just going off of like, you're so far back there. I told myself like, rut usually hits this week. I'm taking that week off of work. Like I'm not coming back here until that week, and then that's when I went back there and all these deer were around, and that big one showed up. So sometimes that's honestly like I tell myself I do it every year. It's like I sometimes do the cell cams almost like just for fun for me. Like I said, I hunt these 10 acres. Like I'm still gonna go hunt the same 10 acres that I have access to. So it's not, it's almost like a secondary hobby at this point. And if time, the busier you get with family and work and everything, it's kind of want to just confirm your suspicions that things are there, or make you feel better about sleeping in on the weekends.
I found myself doing that, but then like I went to where the camera was, like it was completely dead. I went to the camera where the cell camera was up north when we had our rut camp, and the deer were just skirting it. Like they were literally coming out right below the camera or going right above the camera. Like they were missing that void. And everyone says it, like I've had conversations with multiple people, like they always say like there's something with cell cameras, like they can sense it in the woods. And it's like
it's gotta be something with that antenna, because I've heard the same thing. And like that's another thing too, is I got a buddy this year who had one out, and he got one picture of like a nice buck. Fit, and then they didn't see it when we were getting pictures, but then they're out hunting, and then they ended up seeing it. And that was the thing, is like where he was cutting through, he just stopped using that little area was. And it's like, I think the smaller deer, and again in Michigan, they're still pressured anyways, and again, like this is definitely a brown and down state, so like you get a 2.5, 3.5-year-old deer or buck around here, like it's a big buck for the most part, again for what I consider big, but they get super smart super quick, and there's nothing you can do about it, and they'll go nocturnal or whatever half the season do. So I don't know. I say I have a lot of hate. Like I still use them, but I'm like, also like I don't even know if I should. I go back and forth on that every year.
Yeah, I'm not buying any more standard SD cams because I have way too many. I have like I'm pulling them all from the woods right now, and like my workbench is like full of them, and it's like, man, I'm done buying them. Like when they die, they die. Like I can't. That's a lot of money to spend on batteries and SD cards, and and then if you do run a bunch of cell cams, like I saw people, like I'm blown away by how many people, and what talking about cell cams here, but my goodness, blown away by how many people like buy like a ton of cell cams and like pay for the bill and put them out. And I'm like, man, that's a lot of money.
That's why I kind of started transitioning this year over to the spy points, because you get the 100 free photos, and then I was looking, there's like some membership you can buy for your account that like covers all cameras. And I'm like, because I spent on the reveal, it was like $25 a month I spent $100 on 2 cameras. So there's some people that have like 40 of these things, so that gets like super expensive super quickly. So I think I might transition over to the spy points for the ones that I do use, just because of that. Like it gets so expensive, and then you're running, I think they got 12 batteries in them or something. I have to make sure I go to Costco to get the batteries.
Or get the Amazon Basics or something like that. Like that's what I bought before. And Amazon Basics, they seem to work fine. Like I haven't ran them in any cell cams. One, I don't have. This is the first year I actually put them back out. But like mostly the standard SD cams, like I put Amazon Basics in them. I mean, they last me all year through winter, summer, into the winter again. Like they work perfect.
Yeah, that's the only thing. Like here, once it starts getting cold, you can see the battery meter start dwindling quickly. Because it gets so cold. Like it's, I don't even know, it was like 5 degrees this weekend at night or something. So
yeah, gosh. So let's talk about Michigan hunting a little bit before we get into the mobile hunter prints.
Yeah.
Because you said there's a doe season. Like walk us through that a little bit, because I'm interested, because our rifle season, like our arch season, buck and doe are in, and then our rifle season, buck and doe are in, late season, buck and doe are in, as long as you have a doe tag for that WMU.
Yeah. So in the state of Michigan, I don't know like out of state, like resident, non-resident, like how that works specifically.
Yeah.
But you can buy a combo tag, so you get two because we're a $2 state.
Okay.
And then it kind of gets broken down too into different like counties or regions will have some specific rules on like if you can't use $2 or if there's restricted to both bucks, but like a majority blanket, it's your first buck tag is any buck. Your second
Okay.
buck tag is 4 on one side. But with that, I'm trying to remember because the rules do kind of change over the last few years. But like you can during gun season, you can use that combo tag both for doe and gun.
Mm.
So because of the doe population that we have here, so you can use you can use for bow season or gun season. You can use a doe tag for each one of those. Again,
Okay.
there's special areas where that rules are a little different, but for the majority, what it is. So then bow season is October 1st through January 1st. So you can bow hunt all through gun season, muzzleloader, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Just during gun season, you got to wear orange or whatever. Because I know some states you can't bow hunt during gun season.
Yeah.
I think it's like Wisconsin or something like that.
Yeah, I think because they put on so many drives out there. I think that's because, I mean, Pennsylvania, you can take a bow out with you
Mm-hmm.
for rifle season, like, but once again, you still got to wear like the hunter orange and all that kind of stuff. So, so there's multiple states like that, and PA is kind of weird because like yours comes in October 1st and it runs the whole way to January 1st. You say?
Yeah, well, that's another thing I was going to kind of mention too. So, like between the county that I live in and then the few surrounding counties, it's like extended through January. So, like there's like in the whole state of Michigan, there's like certain areas that have their own sets of rules, and it's disclaimer: I am no like rule keeping guide, but like that's because it changes. It seems like it changes every year
Yeah,
too.
right.
But
PA
then
is the same way.
So then for November 15th through the end of November is rifle season. And in Michigan, we have like a rifle line. So like below the line is straight wall cartridge. So like shotguns, 350 Legends, 450 Bushmasters, muzzleloaders. And then above that is like anything, 30-06, 308s, whatever.
Okay.
And then muzzleloader season, again, there's like regions, how it's set up, I think, or at least it used to be. So I don't muzzleloader hunt a ton. But like now muzzleloader is like second gun season. You can use your rifles, your 450 Bushmasters and all that stuff during that rifle season. And then now it's like that was down here, it was last Sunday, it was cut off. It was the last day. And then the next day, late doe season with a rifle is the rest of the year. But then you can also just bow hunt and shoot a buck too.
Okay. All right.
So it gets a little hairy in there, and then but it's kind of like it's weird. I think that's how it works. Like it's like gun season is almost like November 15th through like December, whatever. You get like there's like a 4 or 5 day window where it's just bow season again. And I try to get out there in that little gap because there's nobody in the woods because everybody's had enough. But
ours. Yeah, ours is it's usually like the first Saturday, I think, in October. This year was October 4th came in. And then it goes to right before Thanksgiving. So the weekend, 2 weekends before Thanksgiving, because then Bear comes in and then Thanksgiving, and then it's rifle season. Rifle season for like 2.5 weeks.
Okay.
And then after Christmas, you can start hunting again. December 26th, you can start late season hunting. So you can bow or flintlock if you have a flintlock tag. So ours is like, it kind of stops. Like there's certain days where it stops. There's no hunting at all. And it's like, I've seen other states where it's like, it goes straight through from October 1st to January 1st. You can hunt every single day. Right.
Yeah.
It's like PA. I wish PA was more like that, where it's like, okay, here's a start, here's an end. You can hunt every single day in between there, and just you have different seasons that come in.
Yeah. So
like I could bow hunt the whole time if I wanted to.
Yeah, well, that's what I actually like last few years. I like opening days like national holiday in the state of Michigan. So I go out for opening weekend for the most part. And then that time in between Thanksgiving, like this year and last year, I spent a couple of times I just go out with my bow because I mean, you've got to this point where like I love gun hunting for like the camaraderie, like you get to sit in the heated blinds and relax, and I like cooking my soup and drinking coffee and hanging out. But at the end of the day, you know, like I want to shoot him with my bow. Like that's what makes me tick. Like doing all this stuff, and like that's how I want to do it. And you know, I have the mentality too. Like I'm not starving. Like I like, you know, if I'm going to do all this and invest all this time and money, I'd like to do it the kind of the way that makes this most exciting for me.
Yep.
And I think it's that challenge too, because like in the last few years, I got so close, and like I keep wanting to do that each year. But don't get me wrong, like this year I shot a 6-point that I thought was an 8-point. I had no brow tines.
Okay.
Brown ears. I'm like, oh, I was like super pumped, and no brow tines, but whatever. I was still pumped about it. That's the first buck I've shot with a gun in probably 10 years. So like, I don't have. First, I mean, I always gun hunt. I never had a ton of success. I do most of my stuff during bow season. But yeah, I guess that's just kind of like how I am.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I mean, I actually, the buck I shot last year was a big 6, and I thought like I knew he was legal when I shot him, but I thought he was like an 8. I was I thought he like with how big he was, I was like, there's no way he wasn't an 8. And I walk up, he's like, only a 6. Dang,
it's like it cracks me up too, because like the night before I was like this is like getting into like Michigan, like there's a buck over at my father-in-law's, which I'm super thankful to be able to hunt down there because he spends a ton of time and cultivates like these immaculate food plots, and like I'm like, dude, this is great. You know, thanks for letting me come over here and shoot these deer. And, you know, we're close, and it's fun too to do that with those guys. But you know, I was out there, and there was this buck in the back corner of the property that was like a little over 200 yards, and like, you know, I don't go hunt much, so I was kind of like hemming and hawing, like trying to make sure what it was. And by the time I was like, I should have shot, was when he turned around and I saw like he was out around the ears, and I'm like, okay, whatever. So then he kind of trickles down, and then he walks into the neighbors, and all of a sudden, neighbor shoots. I'm like, okay, like neighbor shot him. And then my father-in-law was telling me just last week, like he sent me a video of this 8-point that was kind of coming through the field, and he's like, oh, I'm gonna let it go or whatever. And then he texts us, the neighbors just shot it. Like it like did a 90 degrees, went down the property line, and then with 2 does. And then he said, shot goes off, and then the 2 does come back, and the buck stayed there. So I was like 2 bucks off that property that the neighbors like shot. You know? So it's just what it is.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I mean, that's I guess that's the trouble. I mean, not the trouble, but like if you try and keep on your, like for a small acreage and stuff like that, it's hard to keep deer on the property unless you have like perfect access or little pressure or whatever.
And you got to have everybody be on the same page,
right?
You know? Like I said, like Michigan, and that's kind of where like I've got to where like I have my own goals and like what I want to do, but like even if I get in the stand and that big, you know, basket 6-point gets me excited, like that goes out the window. You know, like that's what gets me excited. That's what I'm here to do, because the sad reality is like, especially in Michigan on these super small acres, like it's lucky that it goes to the neighbor's property and makes it to the next neighbor's property. You know, because like so the one property that we've been hunting, my buddy shot a really nice 10 last year, and it went, because they're like super skinny, like 10-acre chunks, and it went like 4 or 5 over. So we had to go door knock and get permission to get back there. And when we were out there in the middle of the night, we must have passed a dozen tree stands in like the 5. So like that buck, when he came from that direction, in theory, could have passed 5-6 hunters to get to the end property that we've been hunting. So it's you know, it's tough. It's just the pressure and just it's just how it is here. So.
I think that's kind of where, like, me personally, like my mindset kind of has to change. I think next year, like like anything else past his ears is something I want to shoot. It's like kind of my goal, but like during our season, like I feel like I just have to get something down under my belt to like shoot something like that. Now, when it comes to rifle, then it's like, okay, my standards can raise a little bit more because I shot so many more deer with my rifle. It's like I can raise my standards then. But like for archery, I feel like my standards have to lower just a little bit. It's like, but I mean, I use this multiple times, but Ryan Glisky was like, you can't pass up 130s because especially if you have never shot 130s before.
Well, like growing up, like, you know, like I said, bow hunting since I was 10. Like, I don't think I retrieved my first buck with a bow until I was 14 or 15.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, between misses, you know, unfortunately, like bad shots, whatever, as a kid, like learning. And like, I got some buddies that have been getting into this and kind of the same thing. Like, well, I want to shoot this. And I say, well, you know, do whatever you want. But like, my mentality is you need to practice and understand like when to draw, where to, you know, where to shoot, how to shoot, get used to it, and do it a few times before you think that big 10 point is going to show up and you're going to execute the way that you need to execute.
Yeah.
And even the most seasoned people will tell you, I mean, they still mess up. Like it's bow hunting, you know, and that's kind of why I love it.
It's not for the faint of heart, put it that way. Like it's the last 2 years I've hit buck and just wounded them. Like it was not, it's one of the worst feelings ever to wound especially if it's a mature buck. It's like, but I have the problem where I can't see a damn doe during archery season and I see him during rifle season.
That's another thing I learned too, like getting into all this, especially in Michigan. I don't know, like, I just saying this because this is my experience, but
yeah,
I feel like it's at times it's harder to kill a mature doe in some of these areas because they are so alert and you cannot move. And in Michigan, they're always looking up, like checking the tree lines and stuff. We're like some of the bucks I killed, they're just, you know, bebopping through, you know, and they're kind of, you know, following some does, and they're not even up. They're just following the does. Where those does are like almost harder to kill with the bow, in my opinion, than it is the buck sometimes.
Well, also because if you think about it, like how many times have you seen, like during the season, how many times have you really seen like a mature buck with another deer? Because doe, they're always with more doe. Like it's like you have not just two, like a pair of eyes, you have like multiple pairs of eyes that you have to worry about. It's like you could be close to doe bedding, but they're like, we're not going out there. We can see someone right there. Like we're not going to go out there. But that buck, he's by himself, and he's just going to be like, looks clear to me.
Well, and they always take turns feeding half the time. It's like, and that's not for no reason, you know. They're smart.
It's very true, because actually this past weekend I was watching from 200 yards away. I was watching two doe feed. The one was feeding, and the other one would look up and chew, and then they would switch back and forth. Like I even before you said that, I never really thought about that. But yeah, they're like, and when they bed too, like they usually don't bed because of the wind. They just bed like kind of looking each different direction.
Well, yeah, it's all a security perimeter or whatever, you know, and that's why, like, I think it's impressive when, you know, especially you get like the big mature does, you can get in there and shoot one with your bow. It's like, that's kind of a big deal, guys. Like, that's an accomplishment, you know. It's everybody wants to shoot the big horns, like, you know, I do too. But like, you know, and that's the thing too in Michigan is like we got a ton of doe. We have a ton of doe. They need to be, you know, kind of brought back down, and there's some areas around here like people will shoot the spike over the 20 doe in the field. Not everybody, you know, wants to shoot the does for some reason.
You
know,
that's how it is here too. Like the PA has getting some big bucks, and everyone wants to just shoot a big buck. But the herd needs to be balanced quite a bit, and it's like we need to start shooting more doe too, because it's bad.
We can do 10 over-the-counter doe tags now. And I remember back as a kid on state land, because I didn't just start hunting private property for the last handful of years, but on state land, you used to have to apply for the zone to get a doe tag. And not every year you would get one. And now it's anybody, private land, state land, you can just get 10 right over the counter, because that's how many they want you to get, which is kind of crazy. On top of your 2 combo tags.
Wow.
So in theory, you could shoot 12.
Wow, that's a lot of doe. That's a lot of meat in the freezer.
That's
a lot of freezer queens going.
And don't get me wrong, like, I got buddies and people you'd see on the Facebook and stuff. Like, there's some big deer that get shot in Michigan.
You
know, it's just a matter of, finding them and having the access to them, it's
Yeah.
it's kind of like the whole battle, really.
Yes.
Because
Yeah.
you can't it's hard to fall into an area where they're already like trying to manage it, because that's just not like a common practice, I feel like, around here.
Yeah. Yeah. No. Same here. Same here. Let's get into mobile hunter prints now. So 5 years ago, you got into mobile hunting,
Mm-hmm.
and then has it been a full year yet, or is it like a year and a half, or
I
that
was
you
just
started this
looking.
company?
I was just looking before we got on there. It was January 26th. I actually created the Etsy page.
Okay.
And then I think I didn't have my first sale until February, March, or something like that.
Okay. All right.
So kind of like the reason I got into this, so was last fall. My wife, which, thank you for getting. She ended up the one that bought me my first 3D printer, because she was like, what do you want for your birthday? And I was like, I think a 3D printer would be pretty cool, because like I have a weld engineering background, so like I've been kind of at work. I was around 3D printers on my old job, and whatever. And I was like, had some of these ideas, and I actually reached out to some people that have some of the other companies and tried to come up with an idea. It was the strap storage for the lone wolf sticks. I was like, hey, is this something that you have or working on? I thought about it. I got some ideas. And he's like, no, I'm not really working on it. I was like, all right. So that was the first thing that I wanted to make
Okay.
with the printer. So the wife got me the printer for my birthday. I made the strap sticks storage system for the single steps.
Mm-hmm.
And that was the first thing I made. And I had no real intention on like turning it into like a business, I guess. But then I made like a gear hanger, and I made trying to think of what else. I made like the gear hook for the sticks for the caddy to like kind of keep on your hip. And then I started making this other stuff. And then I had some buddies that were like, hey dude, you think like, I could get some of this or try that? I'm like, so I started making those, and like, you could probably like, sell these. And I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, maybe we'll see. And I was trying to like look into the logistics on like starting the website, doing the whole Etsy thing, and kind of how that goes. But hold on a second, sorry. So I made a handful of things. I ran like a whole bunch of like, I used that as my trial terms, like all the stuff that
Mm-hmm.
I was using. I was using my gear hoists and clips, and the J hook spacers are one of my favorite things, because kind of get them up off the sticks, and a lot of guys have been loving those. But pretty much everything
Okay.
started around the 0.5, because that was like my bread and butter.
Yep.
So I made all the stuff, started the page in January. I was like, we'll see. Like, I don't want to like get my hopes up, but like
Mm-hmm.
I spent some time, because on the computer, like making the stuff, and it was all cool and making it look not only like functional.
Mm-hmm.
Like, there's some things that I have had in the past where it was like, I like the idea. The idea is there,
Mm-hmm.
but it needs a tweak. It needs X, Y, and Z. Like, it's just not doing it for me.
Yeah.
But so I did that, and I kind of just did it for myself, and had some buddies that I had given some stuff to, and then I made the page. Kind of figured out the logistics of like what all goes into it. The marketing, the pictures, the descriptions, like getting everything kind of tuned in, if you will.
Mm-hmm.
And then really it was like middle of summer, August or something. My buddy was like, he texted me, he's like, hey, have you posted in like any Facebook groups? I'm like, no, I haven't really done that. So I started the social media pages, and then started sharing those into like some Facebook groups. Then all of a sudden it just went like this. And I'm like, oh crap, okay. Getting a ton of positive feedback. I'd reached out to some other guys on social media. I was like, hey, can I send you some stuff or give you like a discount code? Just to, like, I just trying to get my stuff out there, and
Mm-hmm.
I'm just doing this for the fun of it. Like,
Yeah.
it's solely because I love doing it. I love mobile hunting. It keeps me more actively involved in
Mm-hmm.
hunting throughout the year. And that's what I wanted to do with this. And then, so those guys, I had a bunch of guys making some stuff on social media, and I'm posting in there. And then all of a sudden, yeah, I went from like a few sales, like, I don't know, like 16 or 20 or something,
Mm-hmm.
up until like June or July. And my goal was 100. My goal was like, I want to do 100 sales. I could like, pay for the printers, do this, whatever. And then by 1st of December, I was like over 750.
Yep.
sales. And I was like, like, so it just kind of like exponentially went like this. So then I spent a lot of time like doing a lot of the marketing, coming up with, new ideas. That's why I kind of got that Maverick saddle, because I didn't have a saddle. I wanted to like
Okay.
get a saddle, like kind of see what else I could come up with. Because as soon as I get some new gear, I start wanting to tinker and tweak with it. My buddy makes fun of me, says I got my Batman belt. I got all the gadgets and stuff on it,
Yeah.
But really, it's out of like a necessity for me having the time that I have and all these different places to hunt. I want to be as efficient and like as clean as possible. I don't want to be frustrated while I'm climbing the tree, which is why I came up with all this stuff. And like, I use like everything that I make, like I use it. So like, it's not because somebody asked me, like I use the stuff. I trial it, give it to people to trial. Yeah, and the whole thing was the necessity to be quick, efficient, and be able to get in out of the woods. Because if I only got an hour after work, to get in the woods, I only got an hour, so I need to get up in the tree in 5 minutes.
Yep.
So
yeah, that's definitely like the one thing that I love is that, because I have a 0.5 and I ran the hydro sticks this year from XOP, but I'm looking at getting probably 2 sticks from Lone Wolf. I don't know which ones I want to buy yet. I don't know if I'm going to get the single steps or what. But like the efficiency thing, like you just said, like getting up the tree in one time, right? Not coming back down, get your stuff and going back up. Like that's what I did this year. Like it was like once I had a system down, and like towards the end, actually after archery season, when I bought some of your stuff, I bought the bow and gear hang system. The one I had before was too big and bulky, man. It was just like I needed something that, like, when I wrapped the old one up, it was like this big. I was like, I just want to put it in my dump pouch. And like this one here, yeah, I mean, it's like it fits in my hand, like it fits in there perfectly.
That's what, like, sometimes less is more, and like and just like what you said, like, because I only have that pack underneath my seat. That's all I use.
Okay.
And I had the contraptions and whatever else, and I was like, it has to fit in there with my rangefinder, with my binoculars. So I made it fit, and that's all you need is like something super minimal. I like all the gadgets and gizmos, but I'm also very minimalist. I don't take a backpack. I don't take any. I take my stand, that little thing, a little pack on the bottom, and the 2 sticks. That's it.
See, I take a backpack still. I know people. I try to get out of that. Like I tried using a fanny pack for like a couple sits this year, like a small little fanny pack, and I was just like, I need. So I run the Ranger 11 on mine.
Yeah.
And I also have the Maverick saddle as well. So I run that, but like I have a bag underneath my seat as well, but that like holds, for right now, it holds cam straps for my 2 sticks. And what else does it hold? It holds meat bags. So when I quarter them up and take them out, that's what holds as well. But yeah, I mean, I'm not as worried about how much stuff I take in. It's just like I need to be efficient with it. Like, and I wanted to test this out. I was like, will this hold a gun? Like I wanted to make sure it would hold a gun. Like I didn't ask you if it would hold a gun.
Yeah.
When I bought it, I was like, I wanted to see if it would hold a gun or not.
That's the thing too, is like I try to. So I'm very particular on like the design. Like I spend a lot of time making sure that not only does the design look good, but does it function the way that it's made to function, and it is the design like efficient and like again minimalist. Like, do I need all these bells and whistles, or can I just have it be cut and dry?
Yeah.
So that's kind of what I focus on, and then on top of that, like I get really particular on, like, I use a certain brand of material that I like, that I've had really good success with. The way the colors turn out, like, and that's one thing. Like a big disclaimer is one thing I've learned is I'm gonna knock it down to black, gray, and orange next year, because having too much variety and this, that, and the others kind of made it a little whatever. But
yeah, I'm sure. Yeah.
But like I try to design them to be as strong as possible without. Because my big thing is too is like I've had some people say, "Hey, dude, you should probably charge more." And I'm like, I could, but this whole mobile hunting thing and everything, it gets so expensive.
It does.
I want it to be affordable for people to use. And at
Mhm.
the end of the day, it's plastic. Like I've had guys like, hey, dude, I accidentally like drop my bag on this thing that snapped, and it's like, yeah, and I've like sent them replacements or whatever,
Mhm.
or replacements like $10. I don't want these things to break the bank. I want it to be, you know, a good design that's durable and reliable, but
Mhm.
also doesn't cost an arm and a leg because everything else adds up super quick. When you start getting into this stuff, and I don't want my products to be the barrier to get into like being that next level of efficient because it costs too much.
Yeah.
So
No, I like that. And like the one thing that I didn't even realize it when I first like put it on the tree, but these little like what I don't even know what they'd be
the
called. Like
little
these little
like little locating holes for like the
yeah,
putting
like
us together. Yeah.
I didn't realize that they like go into each other. I thought it was just like a regular old hook
No,
and
no.
all that kind of stuff, but like they go into each other and like they stay together when you
Yeah.
wrap it up. And I was like, that's something that probably like
But
not many people think about that it would be important.
well, that's like I'm super, and I have OCD at times, so I'm very much want to be organized and neat because
Mhm.
if you get to the base, so like when I first started with that Vanish, I would do one stick, climb up, do one stick, climb down, grab the stand, go up, hang
Yep.
the stand, come down, get my stuff, and go up. And I got to where I could do it quickly, whatever. But now I set my stuff down. Bow gets clipped in, sticks get in their holster, everything gets on the saddle. By the
Mhm.
time I get to the base of the tree, like bows in hand, before I set anything down, I did like a timer because I was making some social media content.
Mhm.
I am in the stand, hunt ready in under 8 minutes
Yeah.
with gear up, bows hung, 8 minutes, ready to go. And it's just because I've spent a lot of time like coming up with these little nuances to make it
Mhm.
quick, clean, efficient, easy, and I nerd out on that kind of stuff too. So
Yeah.
it's a secondary hobby as well. Just stuff.
It's one of those things where it's like I love getting new gear. Like
Mm-hmm.
it's like even the smallest thing, right? Like it's like you get this little thing that adds to your arsenal that can one, I think you buy these little things because you need them. And it just makes you, like you said, it makes you more efficient where it's like you don't have to be down around that tree. That means you don't have to wake up. You can maybe sleep in for an extra 10 minutes because you can get in a tree in 8 minutes compared to before with the Vanish, you're going up and down, up and down, up and down, where you
Yeah.
have to be maybe 20 minutes, half an hour to set up a stand.
And I always have a problem where I start sweating, and then that's when I
Yeah.
get cold. So if I can least amount of movements to get set up and not get a sweat worked up while I'm trying to hang the stand, so I don't get cold for the sit that night, the better.
Yes.
Um,
Yes.
and like some of these things, like my see it, but like my gear, like the gear. This has been a very popular one, like the gear hoist. But like I
Okay.
know it's one of those things. Like I know I'm not the only guy that makes some of this stuff, but
Yeah.
the ones that are out there, I haven't had one that actually slips into the molly. It goes into your pocket, or it's like a clip that kind of is rigid, or kind of not. The guys use the dog leashes or whatever, but like
Mm-hmm.
I want it on my saddle, and I want to reach down, pull it up, flip it into the bow, and then as you climb, it just starts letting it out. Like it's just right there, and it's not going anywhere. Like that's like a huge thing. Is the more moving parts you have, the more complicated it gets, and then you end up dropping something or forgetting something or losing something. Because especially in the dark, we've all done.
Yeah. Yeah. I still have the old, it's, I'm looking at it's made by Allen. It's like almost like a dog leash one, but it has
Mhm.
like one of those hooks. And that thing, there's numerous times where I get in the woods and I'm like, did I remember that?
Mhm.
And it's like I got to put it on top of my backpack and like that. The next year, I'm probably gonna be buying one of those bow hoists because that's 100% like something like well, like you said, just putting it on the saddle right there,
It's done.
and it's always there.
Yeah.
Or like even like if I put it on the side of my backpack where there's Molly here,
Yep.
like it's always there no matter what. Like
Yeah.
that's definitely one thing that yeah.
And that's like I think the reason that one did pretty well this year was because again, there's a lot of ones out there that have clips or whatever, but this one was designed to go on the Molly
Yep.
because every saddle, every backpack, every majority has that Molly on it,
They have Molly now. Yeah.
and that's where like I kind of really all of my stuff is kind of like a lot of it's revolved around that mount because it's utilized so much in what we do now.
Yeah. And there's the was the you just came up with some new stuff, right? Like just
Yeah.
recently.
So so I got this saddle here at Black Friday. I don't know if you can see it. It's this like the bridge clip.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Like I put that on and I go, yeah, no, that's not happening. Like you're walking around the bridge is kind of flopping around here, you tie it up or whatever. And I'm like, no, I'm making a little clip. It just kind of snaps in. And I've had some guys buy them already, and there's been a lot of positive feedback because that's one thing everybody hates about those things is there's no great way to store them. They're just kind of there, you know.
I end up like I think looking at my saddle, I think I have it like twisted up a few times into like the loop, like just keep it out of the way because I don't really once it's in a certain location, I don't move it. Like it just kind of just stays there, and I don't touch it. Like it's just like looped up around the rope, just because, like you said, it's an annoying thing that's it's always in the way.
Yeah, and I'm hoping that one gets some like good traction next year because that's one that I released kind of late, but I just kind of was like wanted to see kind of what would happen. I made it, used it for like a week, and I'm like, yeah, I think this is gonna be great. Yeah, and I released it, and we sold like a dozen of them that first day, and there's been a lot of positive feedback. But another cool thing that's been coming is or kind of happening is I got all my stuff on Eastern Woods Outdoors. I guess not all of it, but like a good chunk on their website.
I did see that. Yeah.
They're actually so Dan and the guy Dan O and the Eastern Woods Out guys. They're actually up here in Lapeer, not too far from me. They're local. So they're my local bow shop, and I just kind of happened to bump into them and saw that they had some like amp steel guy stuff is in there. Like they had like a bunch of money stuff. I was like, hey, like, would you be interested in like the quiver hangers for the bow shop? And everybody's like, yeah, bring all the stuff in. So now I've got 6 or 7 of the things on his website, and then him and I made like a exclusive exclusive kind of partnership on a product that we went in on together.
Yeah.
So we kind of designed together for his rappel kits for his one sticking and stuff.
Okay.
So like I got that kind of deal with him, so that was kind of cool, and the stuff with him starting to sell and getting the word out there too. So it's cool to see how this like the snowball kind of starts happening and gets out there too. And again, like the money's sweet.
Yeah.
It's not why I do it. Like again, I could probably make more on some of these things, but like that's not why I'm doing this. I'm doing this because I enjoy doing it. I want people to be able to have all the gadgets and gizmos to be efficient and clean and have a good hunting experience. And that's what I'm here for. And then getting to see this stuff, like people getting out to you, talking with you and having the opportunity to come on a podcast like this is something I would have thought would have happened from all this. And I'm super thankful for all this stuff and kind of how it's transpired over the last 10 months or whatever.
Yeah, so. It's cool to see. Like I like with the podcast too. It's like the same way. It's like the money's kind of nice. Like with YouTube now that we're making money off YouTube, it's like it's kind of nice making that stuff. But it's like even if I wasn't doing that, making that money, I still would be doing because I enjoy these conversations. Like I enjoy having conversations with people I never would have met before in my life. Right. Like I met people all over the country by doing this. It's pretty cool, exciting. And it's when you see people learn something, or like in your case, when you see it actually help someone and you can see them get a deer down because they, not because they have your stuff, but it helped them that little bit of way because it was a tool they added to their arsenal. That has to feel pretty good. Like when that happens.
When you start seeing like, people are like dropping reviews and seeing people take pictures of your stuff kind of in the picture. It's cool. And it's really rewarding for me. Like I spent this time to develop these products and, I guess like I was telling you, like some of these things was like, I saw some other stuff where it was like, like the idea, but it's not there for me because I'm pretty particular on how I want things to work. So I either make my own rendition or like 90% of my stuff is completely original.
Yeah.
But to see somebody not only find it on either social media or Etsy or Eastern Woods Outdoors, but I spent this time, created this invention, if you will, and people are willing to spend their own hard-earned cash on something that I came up with, like that's super rewarding to me. You know, it's very cool.
Yeah. I think the one that's kind of like underrated, and other people might obviously think differently, but the double-sided tether cincher,
Oh yeah,
that thing there, you don't know how many times when you sent me that, I was like, oh my gosh, this is this is amazing. But because usually, because I film with bow hunting and all that kind of stuff with that saddle, I would put my GoPro there to like hold that up while I'm getting ready.
Yeah.
And like I use that for when I shot the doe, and I was like, wow, this is so nice. I don't have to like kind of like readjust or like double loop it or whatever. Like, but the one question I do have, do you tie that to like the loop on the end, or do you put that on like where do you tie that off to?
I just put it on the hold on here, but I just like girth hitch it on the loop.
Okay.
On the end.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. That's what I did. I transferred it over to that because I was like, I think it would make more sense if it was on the loop.
Yeah, I also like store it like this, so it's
okay.
not all loose.
Okay. All right.
That's another thing too. I've been trying to be better at. Like I get on the Instagram and TikTok and stuff, trying to make the videos I like, because like sometimes the pictures and like how I try to do the descriptions don't really show all like how I actually use it or what the original intent was.
Yep.
And that's why I spend the time to try to make things durable, because like I understand people are probably going to use things that maybe the original intent wasn't there, but it might work for it, but I want it to try to be made to do what it's being put through, right?
Right. Yep.
But yeah, I just try to like girth hitch it through there.
Okay.
And it goes through there. But yeah, that was the thing, was like, you know, again, like there's a lot of people out there that make the little clips, and I'm like, that's cool, but that's not really my problem. My problem is like the tag end.
Yeah.
Flop around on my feet, and I'm moving back and forth hybrid hunt. I needed to stay up out of the way. So
yep.
You know, that's one of those things where, like, I made it a little different. But
yeah. Yeah, no, that was one I was like, because like you said, I've seen other people make them too. I just never bought one, and it was just like this is definitely underrated. Like this is like this is like something that I feel like every saddle hunter needs. This is one of them for sure. The other one I'm looking at right now, which one is the most underrated thing that you think you have other than that?
Underrated. See, it's tough too, because like the lone wolf stuff, like it hasn't sold as much, but I think it's because it's like a niche market. Like, you know, obviously you got to have the 0.5 and you got to have the J hooks or whatever.
Yep.
But like that whole system with all the 0.5 stuff, it's so dialed in for the guys that two stick specifically. Like, that's why it's like hyper specific.
Okay.
Those are probably my favorite. Those were the original ones that I made, but like the underrated ones, I think, and I don't know if it's just because it's new, but is that bridge clip.
Yeah.
Because like it's like, to me it's like a no-brainer, because there's guys, because my buddy, he likes to set his bridge at the beginning of the year and then he leaves it, so he'll just like kind of like what you do, but it's in a location to where you can take the bridge and I can just snap it in. You don't have to, like, because I tie mine tight and then kind of loop it in. You can take the long end and loop that in as well.
Okay.
But it's use case of however, you know, your needs fit. So like between that one, I don't know how that one's going to do yet, because it's like been a week or something.
Yeah.
But also it's like the milkweed holder.
Okay. Yep.
You know, I love this one. Like, again, that's another one of those ones that there are other ones out there. Mine is a fully encased like lid, to where it kind of fully snaps over top of it, holds it all in there. It's 2-piece. Where it kind of like encloses it where there's no loose parts.
Oh, okay. I see what you mean. Okay. All right. Yeah. I didn't know that before. I thought it was just like one of those things where it's like you have to like stuff it in there through that little like.
Yeah. That's
that star.
Other ones that I've seen were like that.
Yeah.
You know, and a lot of guys, like buddies, use like pill bottles or baggies and stuff. And then I saw one that guys use like a little coin purse, and I was like, that's a cool idea. So then I was like, well,
I have a coin purse actually.
Yeah. I was like, that's like, okay, like something around that. That's kind of like what I'd seen guys use on Facebook or whatever. And then I was like, all right, like I want a lid where you pull it off, you can shove it in there and then close it to where it's like
Yeah.
encased. You gotta fight everything. That's probably one of my favorite ones.
Okay.
But as far as like an underrated one, like let me look here. Like I can't forget.
The cam buckle hanger system.
Oh, the cam buckle hangers and the cam buckle bungee storage. If you're using cam buckles, those are
Yeah.
cheap.
What's
Because
this here? It's the strap storage system for the Lone Wolf sticks.
yeah, that was the original. That's the first product I ever came up with.
Oh, really? Okay.
So
All right.
it's specifically designed around their cam buckle with straps.
Yeah.
And it just wraps up and around them, and it stays right there on the stick. Because my biggest grievance with their sticks going on to the 0.5 was I couldn't keep the straps on there. I
Okay.
take them off, wrap them up. They end up getting all tied into knots and stuff. So with those, it just stays on the stick. It's organized. It's no knots, no mess, none of that. That's why I like the 0.5 stuff. Like I spent the most like time like dialing it because that's the setup that I use. So those are probably my favorites. But I was just
the J-hook spacers, is that just like those spacers? Is that just to add more?
It just has more height.
Okay. All right. So you can grip it probably a little better.
Yeah, and it gets off the sticks a little bit. And like some guys like will notch the bottom of the J-hook off to where literally it's like 3 or 4 turns and it's off.
Okay.
You know,
all right.
kind of instead of being buried down into the straps and into the you got a pack on there or whatever, they're like, you know, it gets them like an inch off the sticks, so they're easy. And like on mine, I got like the high vis, like neon green. So like if you drop the J hooks, you can find them.
Yes.
You know, because that was a big thing. And then like the quiver hangers, like I know I only make them for the Matthews because that's what I've got, but those are like super popular.
The Primos, the original, can call hanger.
Yeah, that hasn't got a ton of publicity, but like that's one of my favorites.
That is kind of like that's kind of pretty smart because you're like I keep it in the top of, I think I usually keep it in the top of my bag, or I'm trying to think where else I have it at.
Mine was always like in my coat pocket. I always have it in there, and then I'd like be fighting for it, and it's rattling around and stuff, making noise, and that one was just like I was sitting in the tree stand, and I was like, I can do that. Like, why is nobody? So I kind of whipped up that one, and then the same thing with the black rack storage system.
Yep.
You know, I bought those things, took them out in the woods twice, and I'm like, because I don't have a pack to put them in or anything, and I couldn't keep them together, and they're rattling all over the place, falling or whatever. So then I kind of made those they all kind of just like snap together and hold together. So those have been kind of slightly popular, but like I guess I won't say underrated, but like the most popular one and like that has been super positive feedback is the Lyman rope adjustminator.
Okay.
So, you know, it moves your Prusik knots basically is what its intent was, and from that standpoint, like I was telling you, like I'm all about trying to get guys into this at like a budget price. How expensive it is. Those things are replacing $60-$70 rope.
Yes.
And you get 2 of them. You get 2 of them for $20. And I'm always having sales and codes and whatever, and you can get 2 of them for $20, and you're good to go. So like that's probably the biggest one, that quantity and feedback and just like overall, it just worked. Like it just is what it is, you know, and saving people money and doing it just as efficient, if not, you know, because there's no metal. You have no metal on your, so it's like quieter, it's lighter. I don't know. I kind of just went through all of my stuff there. I like all my products and I use them all, and
as you should, right?
Yeah. So it's hard to pick favorites or one that I like. To me, they're all good, and I'm always trying to utilize them. And we'll see. I got a couple of things that I'm kind of pondering up for next year. I'm trying to have some more releases because that's what I was actually contemplating, saving that Maverick hook, and then that bridge. I was actually contemplating like saving them for next year, but I was like, well, I'll just get them out. See what we're doing. I'm thinking that hopefully the bridge hook will go on Eastern Woods Outdoors too, I think. But yeah, I'm gonna be thinking over the off season, trying to get some more stuff kind of in the works and have a few more things to drop next year. But I'm hopefully keep the snowball getting bigger and having
Yeah.
fun with it. And like I said, I'm super thankful for what it's turned into
Yeah.
for again, my initial goal was 100 sales, and now I've got almost 800, and I've got my stuff in the store on other people's websites. Like it's very, I'm very thankful for like how it's kind of went. And so who knows what will happen next year, I guess, you never know.
Yeah.
But it's been fun. It's been a ton of fun. And
Yeah. I think the best one on for me personally, the best one that I like is the gear hanger. Like that thing is just because how small it is, how light it is, like that's nice. Like in my eyes. Like I like that a lot. But yeah, looking at your stuff, like it is a lineman's rope adjustment. That one's good. The double-sided tether is really, really good. And surprisingly, I was like, man, this is pretty nice.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, it's cool to see like something like what you're doing growing and continuing to grow. And it's something that everyone's looking for. Everyone's trying, like you said, like we talked about at the beginning. It's like we're trying to find something that can make that one trip up instead of multiple trips up and be safe at the same time, right? And be lightweight, because that's what everyone wants: lightweight, mobile, and all that kind of stuff. So,
and like with my engineering background, like I'm always thinking of those things, and and there's a lot of companies that make a lot of stuff too. Like it's not like I'm obviously I'm not like the first one to get this, so like I was just trying to see kind of how it would work and get into it, and like again, I'm not stepping on anybody's toes, and that's a whole other thing, but because I'm just like I'm doing this for the fun of it, and I'm trying to like come up with my own ideas and other things that I think like again other things that I've seen that's out there, and if it is out there, I've done something different in the design or the process to make it better, in my opinion, which is why. And again, like we got 150 reviews of people like loving the stuff, and it's been fantastic, and super grateful and thankful that it's kind of turned into this. But I actually so I got the one printer last year. I got a second one in the middle of the season to kind of get me through because there's a couple of weeks where it was getting super busy.
Yeah.
And then I ordered a third one that's coming to kind of get through. Like I want to be like a little more prepared for next year if I can be. So
yeah. Dang, man, look at that.
Yeah, I know. I appreciate everybody that's been supporting me through this. Like as we grow, and I got a lot of guys that return customers, people reaching back out, and it's been awesome. So I appreciate all those guys and people that are kind of following us along the way. We'll see kind of like where it goes, but I'm super optimistic with the stuff in Eastern Woods Outdoors, like getting that publicity, working with him. We got a couple of things that we've been working on and up on his website, and then hopefully I can kind of come up with a few more products for next year as I get into an actual saddle and saddle platform. I might kind of like, that's why I want to get into that kind of stuff to see what else I can kind of come up with. Because that's half the fun for me is seeing a problem and coming up with a solution,
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm sure your wife is very happy that you're making money with the printer now too.
Well, it's funny. Like I was teasing because she's like, "You're such a dork," and I'm like, "Yeah, I know. We'll see." And then all of a sudden, sales are going up. A little bit of money, go out to dinner and do this. And it's not so funny now, is it, honey? She's like, "Yeah, whatever." So it's funny. She appreciates it, and I appreciate her for like supporting me and wanting me to do what makes me happy and follow my dreams and be supportive through all this stuff too. So she's great. But yeah, it is funny. Yeah, she thought I was a goofball for even like, oh, are you sure this is gonna like work? Like, are you sure you want to do this? Like, whatever. We'll just see what happens. And then here we are. So
how big is this as the printer that you're printing this stuff on? Is like a normal size printer? Is like pretty big?
So I have two A1 minis, so they're actually super small.
Okay.
Because my original intent was like hobbyist. Like original intent was like, I got all these ideas. I'm probably just gonna make them for me and my buddies, and that's it. So I got that, and ease of use was great. Ease of use was great. But it's only a 7.5 by 7.5.
Okay.
So like print bed. I don't know how familiar you are with like printers, but that's not very big.
Yeah.
And then then I was like, well, I already made all of my print plates and like code and stuff to those smaller plates. So then I got a second one, and now I'm like, okay, got through this year because there's a couple of weeks where I was like every morning, every night, middle of the night, wake up, get them running. So whether they were constantly making stuff, and then now the one I got coming should be like first of the year is like it's like a 10.5 by 10.5, so it's a little bit bigger.
Yeah.
And this one's like an enclosure, so I'm excited to get my new toy in here and play with it and get it cranking out there. But that one will be cool too because I'll be able to like have a lot more on one plate.
Okay.
And in this season, my goal too is like I'm like trying to get some inventory built up over the winter, spring to have some stock to pull from.
Mm-hmm.
In that way, because like my big thing is too is like especially when I got guys ordering stuff in the middle of the season. Like I'm an Amazon Prime junkie. Like
Yeah.
I order all 3 Amazon Prime. And if my stuff isn't showing up in like 2 days or 3 days, like I'm like, where is it? So I try my best, like and I do pretty good about it unless I'm like on the road or something. But to ship next day, or like I have people like we'll put in an order at 7 a.m. and I'll have it shipped out like that afternoon. Like because in the middle of the season, I know how important it is. People are like, some guys get a week, some guys get a few days, so like I try to do my best to get them out like that day, next day, if I can. So like this year I'm going to spend some time on the existing product, get like a bank built up so that way I can have stuff be shipping out quicker all throughout the season because there's a couple of times I had to get like caught up after a few days.
Mm-hmm.
So like that's like another thing. Again, I'm trying to keep the customer in mind because I know how I am. And again, when it's deer season, you got to be in the woods. And don't want to be waiting for your stuff to show up because it's deer season. So
yeah.
But that's kind of like my goals for like the off season is get a few more products worked on and kind of came up with, and then get some inventory built up, and then I got to figure out maybe some more marketing and some stuff I want to do just because like. One thing I realized through all this was I thought like the mobile hunting industry and like group people, it's like expanding.
Mm-hmm.
Because I didn't realize like how many people are doing it, and I need to get the platforms to kind of just get it in front of the right people because there's so many people out there that are doing this stuff, and I think it's just becoming more popular and more people are. Especially as like big box stores are kind of grabbing onto some of the mobile hunting gear,
Yeah.
There's guys I've talked to that are 60 years old that are thinking about getting into it and doing it where they've hunted a certain way their whole life. So like it's definitely evolving.
Mm-hmm.
And the crazy part is that if you look at like I am super pumped about like almost 800 sales. Like again, if you told me this last year, I would have told you like no way. There's no way I sold that much stuff. But at the end of the day, it was like it's like almost like 600 orders, like 600 people plus like there's some repeat orders, so we'll say like 550 people.
Yeah.
That's not like there's like thousands and thousands of people out there doing this stuff. So like I just kind of scratched the surface a little bit with this stuff. So like I'm really excited to see like what we can do with this. And again, if I do 800 sales again next year, I'll be as happy as can be because this gives me an excuse to like do all this stuff. So
I have seen like Bass Pro. I went to Bass Pro a couple of weeks ago, and they had like a mobile hunting like section out. Like they have trophy line, they have climbing sticks in there, they have all this mobile stuff in there. I'm like, wow, that's the first I've seen that stuff in here in a long time. Like usually it's always just climbers or hang-on stands, big bulky hang-ons or ladder stands, blinds, and now it's like there's a lot more shops getting into mobile hunting, like you said. Like there's a lot.
They're like so that's like Eastern Woods up the road, and then there's like Ben's Breed Outdoors, like up that way. There's like some other places, wholesale places or outdoor like stores that are like having this stuff, and it's nice to be able to like go in and see it in person and like stand on this platform or stand on the stand, check out the harness, try on the saddle, because that was always the tough part with all mobile hunting, even like the 0.5. Like I didn't know. I'm not a very tall guy by any means, but 0.5 it's a smaller platform and it fits me perfectly for what I do.
Yeah.
But those things like you're spending all this money and you can't see it in person like anywhere unless you know somebody that has one.
Mm-hmm.
So where like now that it's getting the box stores, I think it's really, people are really starting to kind of buy into it and get into it, and if I could be a part of that and get these things up in the, because like I have it in the storefront up there and stuff, it's cool to kind of see. But
Yeah.
I don't know.
It's like when I bought my 0.5, I was talking to Nick Queen. I was like,
Mhm.
I do the 0.75 or 0.5. Like what should he has a 0.5. I was like, what do you think? Like the biggest question I had was like the seat wise. Like
Mhm.
do the original seat side, like the smaller seat, or should I go up to medium? Like I had multiple people tell me like to go up to the medium because you're going to regret it if you don't, and it's more expensive if you buy the
Yeah.
the medium seat by itself than if you just add it on to it. I'm like, all right, well, it's only like a couple bucks more to add to do the medium seat. I was like, I'll do that. But the height wise, like the height for the stand, like yeah, it's a smaller stand, but like there's a lot smaller stands on the market that aren't safe at all. And it's like, and I've been in a few of them, and it's like, yeah, no, this is not safe. Like, yeah, it just. But this is like I would consider this the 0.5 like a really good size, like a decent sized platform, like an oversized saddle platform, like double.
Yeah, like
size.
once I transitioned into like the hybrid style and like having the harness kind of be there, it made the stand feel a lot bigger.
Yes.
I remember the first time I got up in there, you're like 15, 16 feet up, and you're like, you're facing away from the tree, and it's like, holy crap, this thing
Yeah.
is small. After I was sitting like the Vanish for a year and a half or whatever.
Yep.
But now it's like, yeah, it's like plenty big. I'm used to it now, and I'm not hanging 20 feet up in the tree either.
Yep.
But yeah, but it's one of those things where like the mobile, like from going back to like the mobile hunting, like it is nice to see it in the stores, because then you can like kind of get your hands on it, feel it, play with it, instead of having to buy it to see it,
Right. Yeah. Yeah, that is one thing. Like I wish because there's no stores near me that have like Lone Wolf. I don't think does that. They don't have them in any box stores, so it's all. I was gonna wait till the Great American Outdoor Show, but I was like, man, I want to get it before the season. Like I don't want to just, if I don't like it, like the thing is with 0.5s and Lone Wolf in general, like they hold their value. And if I buy it, I can just turn around and sell it if I didn't like it.
Yeah.
But man, I love it. And I'm like it's weird how much I like it. Put it that way.
Yeah. I mean, they're so well built, and like again, at first it was like my wife was like, how much money you spend on this tree stand? I'm like, well, like look, like it's not, like, don't look at it that way, right? The way I look at it, and like tell buddies that are getting into it, it's like, are you gonna buy one setup for that much money? Or like if you have, because I've got a handful of different properties and state land, it's like, or you spend $3,000 on 20 tree stands,
right?
They lug around stores. So like that's kind of like how I justified it, and I haven't looked back. And like I said, like the quality of it, like I'm a huge Lone Wolf guy. Whatever, I love their stuff. So like, it's good stuff. It really is.
It is. It's just really high quality and USA made too. So like that's pretty cool too. And your stuff is USA made as well.
Yes, it is. Yeah. So yeah. Well, it was funny. So like I had a buddy that somehow something happened. He'd messaged because he bought a 0.5 and messaged the service line or something, and then they saw my stuff, like the stick strap storage thing, like J hook spacers, and they're like, what is all that stuff?
Yeah.
But he's like, oh, like my buddy over at this thing is, well, have them reach out to us, and like we just kind of like to see like some more pictures. And so they reached out and we're interested, like, oh, that's super cool, and to see that people are like altering the stuff we came up with and making it do certain things. So like that was a cool little moment for me to see that they kind of acknowledged it. So that was cool.
That is pretty cool. That's a big moment, especially since you like that's how you started most of this because off the 0.5 you were like, even if no one buys this at all, I'm making sure this works for me.
yeah. Like I said, because the 0.5 is I mean, I've had that for 4 years now, I think. And,
Yeah.
it's really what drives some of the stuff. Like it's like the first things that I came up with, and it's been at the core of my arsenal for the last 4 years. So yeah, it was fun to see him reach out and like to think how cool it was. But we'll see. They said they'd reach back out if they had any other questions. So I was like,
Yeah.
oh, maybe they'll reach back out if it's cool, you know. But um, regardless, it's a win in my books for me. So.
Absolutely, man. Where can people go follow you, buy some of your stuff, and help you out?
Yeah, so I got Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. You can follow me on all those. Much appreciated. I sell exclusively all my stuff through Etsy. My Etsy site. I don't have my own personal website. It just kind of works better because it's in like a public space that it can be found easier.
Yep.
But in each of my bios on each of those platforms, the link is in there. And then also Eastern Woods Outdoors has a handful of my stuff on their website as well. They don't have everything. They just have we have like a handful of things that they're selling that kind of go with like their kind of setups. Like the gear hoists and like the gear hangers aren't on there and stuff. But so it's on their website. You can find some of that stuff. And then also we have the R4 it's called, which is the exclusive like rappel like clip that I've made with those guys. It's kind of sweet because it's got little flexible ears on it.
Okay.
It kind of works like a clothespin. But so then my stuff, you can find some of my stuff over on their site as well.
Okay.
But yeah, then I keep an eye out. Like hopefully, I'm dropping some more stuff in the spring. And I'm gonna kind of stay diligent on the social media, but it'll probably be more of like an in-season thing. It's tough to stay on top of that stuff. I was trying to post once a day, and it gets tough, man.
Yeah, once a day is very rough, and it's like, oh, this is more draining and not as enjoyable as it should be.
Yeah.
Man, I really appreciate you coming on here, and the work you're doing, the product you're putting out. It's really good stuff, and appreciate the stuff that you sent me as well. And the gear hanger is definitely I'm glad I bought that.
Yeah.
Put it that way.
Yeah, no, I appreciate you having me. This has been fun, and I thank you for the recognition, and it's cool to, like I said, like not that I'm a talker, so I can jab on forever, but it's cool to think that just like a few ideas kind of now I'm out here sitting on podcasts talking with people doing stuff. Like it's very, very rewarding for me. But if you ever need anything, like let me know. I'll hook you up. Like I appreciate everything you've done for me, and you've been following my page and liking and sharing and all that stuff for me. And that's been a huge help getting me kind of getting the word out. So I appreciate that.
Yeah, man. Yeah, it's funny. It's the it's that one of those things that you always see, like it takes $0 to just help a small business just by sharing their stuff. That's all it takes, right? And that's what I found myself wanting to do that more. Like at my buddy Drew, who owns Bullpath, like I've helped him out, like push his, like not even like really tried to help, just like share his stuff a little bit. And I think that's what we should all strive to do, is help the American economy grow even more, especially if it's made in America, right? Like just help it out. Like I know everything can't be made, everything can't be bought from American made stuff because it's not the way the world is, but it's gotta try.
And it's helping local people too. Like, just like guys like you and me be able to kind of do this kind of thing. And yeah, I'm super, super thankful for the opportunities and like what this has kind of brought for me. So it's, I appreciate it. Like, it's been good. I'm right there with you. It is cool to make something here, and I've shipped it to people like down the street before, and it's like, you keep it local, and again, it helps me and my family and like what I'm trying to do here, and it's fun. So, you know what I mean?
Yeah, man. Yeah. Once again, I really appreciate you coming on here, dude. Really appreciate it.